I'm Bernadette Wagner, and on behalf of Hospice of Washington County, I'm pleased to welcome you to Healing, Hope, and Health. Everything you ever wanted to know about hospice, its services, its staff, volunteer opportunities, its community outreach efforts, information about our first hospice house in our community, or ways to support the organization is all right here on this program. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Shelley Steiner, Hospice of Washington County's Director of Strategic Initiatives. In her role, Shelley oversees the HWC's legislative initiatives. She oversees the marketing department and manages our RN care consultants, who are specially trained nurses that coordinate closely with the staff at Meritus Health Systems to ensure the best end-of-life care for patients. She joins us today to talk about hospice care delivered in the hospital and the collaboration that occurs to meet the physical, emotional, social, and spiritual needs of every patient and their family members. Welcome, Shelley. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Bernadette.
So let's just start off by saying, first asking you, how long have you worked for hospice?
I came to hospice at the end of 2008, so it's been almost 9 years.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Thank you for your service. So, Shelley, a lot of folks think of hospice as only providing care to folks who are living in their home. But, you know, on this segment today, you're going to be talking about hospice role in partnering with our community hospitals. What percentage of our patients come to us or referred to us through the hospital, and what percentage do we actually care for in the hospital?
Right now, about 39%, I think last month was 39% of our referrals came from Meritus Medical Center. And then also from some other hospitals, maybe down the road, but mostly from Meritus.
Okay, and sometimes we will pick a patient up and then they're sufficiently well to go home. Does hospice provide the care and coordinate that move home?
We do. We provide the care. We work very closely with the care management team at the hospital to identify patients who are perhaps end-of-life patients. We evaluate them, and we also are able to help with them with, if they're eligible for hospice care, to help them with the discharge planning and to get them to a safe environment. Sometimes those patients leave and go to their homes. Sometimes they go to nursing homes. About 50% of our patients are in facilities, and about 50% are home patients.
So for our, in our collaboration with the Meritus nurses, how does that work between the hospice nurses, the care consultants and the hospice nurses?
So our care consultant, right now we have one nurse who's at the hospital. Her name is Jamie Weatherly. And Jamie does a wonderful job of working not only with the care management team, but also with the palliative care unit that is led by Susan Lyons. So she is always in contact with them and working to first identify patients and then also to see if they want hospice care, helps with the evaluation. She also helps if the patient has symptom management that they need while they're at the hospital. If that's the case, then Jamie also becomes kind of the consultant back to Meritus as to how to manage pain and symptoms while that patient is enrolled in hospice in the hospital and then continues on with us.
So it's a really nice give and take and a support for one another. I'm wondering, is it a support to, so if a patient is at Meritus and they're not enrolled in hospice, they have to do all the discharge planning and manage that. So is it a support to them to have the hospice patients discharged, carried out by our staff?
It is, and when they're enrolled and become our patient, then we are responsible for doing the discharge planning. And it's a help to them, but they still help us in managing that. They have a lot of systems in the hospital that they can manage and get things done smoothly. We have our own systems, and we kind of meld those together in order to have the best possible outcome for the patient and the family.
That's great, and that's what the focus is all the time for both agencies.
For both agencies. And we're always thinking about how would this be best for the family. They are tremendous partners with us, and it's a very smooth transaction most of the time.
That's great. That's great. And Shelley, how does Meritus or how does Hospice Washington County foresee this collaboration moving forward when we open Dowie's House?
When we open Dowie's House, we're thinking that the transfer of patients that are eligible for hospice care and eligible for going to Dowie's House for pain and symptom management, we believe that that will make it very simple. They're very much on board and anxious for that process to start, as are we. And we will work together to make sure that that transition of just moving the patient from the hospital room to right across the street. And you can see Doey's house. Standing in the palliative care unit at Meritus, you can look out the window and see Doey's house. And so the excitement has been building for both of us to provide that extra level of care.
That's great. That's great. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I know that hospice has 185 or so volunteers and looking to recruit more, especially when we open Doey's house. But do volunteers also see patients in the hospital, or are they strictly for people in facilities and at home?
There are times when our volunteers come in, not as often as they would in the home or in the facility, but they do come in, especially when someone is maybe close to death and we need people to sit with the family. Our volunteers have gone in and done 11th hour vigil, it's what we call it, and they help to just to be there with the family or to be there with the patient who doesn't have family.
Or to be a listening presence.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Shelley, we're almost out of time, but I was wondering, do you have one particular story that you would want to share that kind of highlights that collaboration between Meritus and Hospice of Washington County?
I don't think I have one story that just came to mind, but I see it every day. When I'm over there, and I'm sometimes over there with Jamie and sometimes go on rounds in the care management, and I just enjoy watching the collaboration. I watch how they are looking out for patients. They're very careful to help present hospice to the patients that might need us. Sometimes we do those in joint meetings, and I think the collaboration between those two groups, the care management team and the palliative care unit and Hospice of Washington County, is a great thing for this community.
Well, I'm sure it benefits the patients and their families.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I'm sure, like me, you appreciate the compassion and dedication of HWC's and Meritus staff nurses. I also hope, like me, you have a new understanding of how Hospice of Washington County and Meritus work together to meet the medical, social, emotional, and spiritual needs of each patient and their family members. We've learned a lot, but if you want, or if you have additional questions about hospice care, please call Hospice of Washington County at 301-791-6360. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this commercial to talk with our youngest guest ever.
I'm the hometown favorite.
I'll outsmart you.
I will beat you.
I'll be surrounded by fans cheering me on.
There's no place like home for fighting cancer.
My turf.
My time.
My team.
Expert care, close to home. The John R. Marsh Cancer Center at Meritus Health.
Living with a chronic disease is a daunting situation, but with help from Life Care of Washington County, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. With our palliative care team, we can help you manage symptoms and the weight of illness. Life Care of Washington County is there by your side, maximizing treatment options, increasing the quality of life, and partnering with you as you face the challenges ahead. Life Care of Washington County, we're with you. You don't have to struggle alone. Call today for a private consultation.
Welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health. Hospice of Washington County is quickly approaching that time of year again when its bereavement team begins planning for Camp Hope and Cope. Camp Hope and Cope is a special one-day camp experience for children between the ages of 6 and 13 who have experienced the death of a loved one. Each camper is paired with a big buddy, a specially trained adult volunteer who's there to be a friend to the child and help them through their grief as they participate in a variety of fun and therapeutic activities. It's my pleasure to introduce one such pair of buddies, Big Buddy Tim Berry and his little buddy Bryson Jenkins. Tim Berry works at Hospice of Washington County and also volunteers at Camp Hope and Cope. Tim received his nursing degree from Southern Adventist University in 2004 and for 4 years worked as a cardiac and pulmonary telemetry nurse. Since joining HWC in 2008, Tim has earned his hospice and palliative nurse certification and has held a variety of important positions. He currently serves as the organization's quality, education, and compliance manager. His little buddy is 8-year-old Bryson Jenkins. Unfortunately, Bryson has experienced the loss and has had to deal with grief. But fortunately, however, he's had the opportunity to attend Camp Hope and Cope, where he experienced healing, encouragement, and the support of others. Bryson and Tim join us today to talk about their experience with Camp Hope and Cope and to invite others who might benefit to attend this year's camp. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. Bryson, can we start with you? Maybe you could tell us, first of all, how old you are and what grade you're in and where you go to school.
I go to Fountaindale. I'm 8 years old and I'm in 3rd grade.
3rd grade. And what's your teacher's name?
Miss Reed.
Okay, all right.
Will she
And-
be watching?
Is your teacher going to watch you on the show? We hope so, right? Okay. Tim, it's my understanding that you volunteered at Camp Hope and Cope for several years. What is it about Camp Hope and Cope that makes you want to come back year after year?
Well, there are a lot of things. They do a very good job setting everything up, providing a lot of activities, a lot of fun events, and a lot of events that allow us to address our grief. One of the things that most inspires me about the camp is the kids. They're very mature, surprisingly mature sometimes, when they both talk about what's going on in their lives and their loss and how they're coping, and also when they listen to other kids talk about what's happened with them.
Yeah, I know I got to participate one year and was really moved by the support that the kids gave to each other. It was wonderful. Tim, when and where is the camp and when are camp applications due?
Well, the camp will be August 19 this year. It will be at Mount Etna Camp and Retreat Center, and the applications are due on July 25th.
Okay, perfect. Bryson, can you maybe tell us about the special person in your life that you went to camp to talk about and to be able to learn to cope with that sadness?
My mom and my dad.
You lost both your mom and your dad. And do you want to say anything about how the camp helped you, or?
It helped me by sharing the thoughts of what I have been going through past out these couple years.
And is it hard? Not too many kids have lost their mom and their dad, so did it help you to maybe connect with other kids who could also understand what you were going through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make any friends there? Yeah? Can you say some of their names?
I forgot. I thought it was I thought I made a friend. His name was Christian, I think.
Good. Tim, can you share a little bit about the big buddy, little buddy dynamic in that experience?
Well, the little buddies, of course, have all experienced a loss, and it's very helpful for the big buddies to provide emotional support for the little buddies. Additionally, I think every single big buddy has experienced a loss of some kind also. So in addition to being supportive of the kids, it allows the big buddies an opportunity to recognize where we are in our grief process, and the little buddies help us too.
That's great. Bryson, Tim said that you helped him. How did he help you? What's so good about him?
He would, on our way to camp, and he would ride next to me, and we would talk the whole way. And whenever we would go explore the museum, we would wouldn't we write down features on a paper about
a
the
scavenger
animals?
hunt.
Yeah. And whenever I need to talk about something, he would be there.
That's great. That's great. Well, I'm glad he was there for you. Just to wrap it up real quickly, Tim, I was wondering, it sounds like this has been a nice relationship for the two of you. Will you continue to, you've continued to stay in touch after camp?
Yes, right now we're planning to do a 5K together.
Wow.
We already have done one with his school, and we'll be doing another one in May.
Well, that's great.
And he's in baseball. He's won a couple games already, and I'm planning to come to watch him play some games too.
Well, I'm glad and grateful to both of you for being here today. Thank you for talking about Camp Hope and Cope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm grateful to Tim and Bryson for informing us about Camp Hope and Cope, a camp where children find out that they're not alone, that there are other children who have experienced the death of a loved one, where campers are supported as they both grieve and heal, where they are encouraged to remember the past and speak the names of those they love, but also gently guided to move forward in the future. Remember, Camp Cope and Hope will be held on August 19th, and applications are due on the 25th. If you know a child who would benefit, please contact Kathy Campbell, Manager of Bereavement Services at Hospice of Washington County at 301-791-6360. Stay tuned, I'll be right back after this short commercial break.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend to everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up, it's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
Living with a chronic disease is a daunting situation, but with help from Life Care of Washington County, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. With our palliative care team, we can help you manage symptoms and the weight of illness. Life Care of Washington County is there by your side, maximizing treatment options, increasing the quality of life, and partnering with you as you face the challenges ahead. Life Care of Washington County, we're with you. You don't have to struggle alone. Call today for a private consultation.
Welcome back. It's my privilege to introduce our next guest, James McGee, who along with his brother and sister-in-law own Regenerate Float Center. Regenerate is located in the Grand Building at 20 West Washington Street, in the same building as the Hagerstown Community Life Center. Hospice of Washington County has 3 community life centers in which community members who are willing to share their knowledge teach classes that benefit the community. James is the leader or instructor of mindfulness meditation, the longest-running CLC program. His commitment to teaching mindfulness meditation is unsurprising. In all aspects of his life, he stresses the health and wellness benefits of meditation. As the owner of Regenerate Spa, as a martial arts instructor, and as a lifelong practitioner and teacher of meditation, James promotes the benefits of letting go of stress and focusing on the present. He joins us today to talk about meditation and to encourage interested viewers to join him at his next session, which begins on May 1st at 3 p.m. Thanks for being here, James.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So first of all, can you just tell our viewers some of the overall health benefits of meditation?
Well, there's so many. I can say, starting with myself, there are things that I've learned about it that have helped me. For one, it's helped me to tune in. Meditation really is not about tuning out, it's about tuning in. And it's allowed me to tune in into myself to learn about just things that I feel and things that I go through. It's become a way of helping me become more aware. It's been really helpful in kind of expanding my perspective, opening things up so I can, notice things, not just about myself, but about other people around me. And with that open perspective, it's really allowed me to sort of see the wave of life, which is like the patterns, the ups and downs that we go through, the highs and the lows. And so when you take a step back and you have a broader perspective of how life works, ups and downs, that, you learn to kind of handle those down situations, be a little more with ease. Much like a car driving about 30 miles per hour and it hits a speed bump. And instead of hitting it full, head on, you see the speed bump, you slow down and you feel it, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah. Well, I think that also some of the readings I've done is it can help lower blood pressure, can help decrease stress and maybe help folks who are dealing with anxiety.
Absolutely. There's so many benefits, but yes. There's
all of those too. So James, this is the longest running Community Life Center program in all of our life centers. What makes you keep coming back and giving of your time and your talents to our community?
I just enjoy, sharing my experience and seeing the benefits that it's given to other people. hearing them kind of talk about how it's helped them really feels great.
So do your students often tell you that it's making a difference in their life?
Yes, and I want to, let them kind of share their experience, because it's really a cooperation between their sharing their experience and then me sharing mine. And then I've found that has been and shown the best results.
Okay, and for your class, do people have to sit in yoga positions on the floor or wear certain yogi clothes? Or?
No, you really can do it anywhere. I mean, you could be right now. I do it in my room. I could be on top of a rock after I've gone for a hike and just sitting, or at a park. It really could be anywhere.
So you try to make it accessible for everybody and any age, right?
Yeah, really. Yes, absolutely. I really want to convey that, because really it's wherever you're at, wherever you are.
In your business, you provide patrons the opportunity to relax while floating. I was wondering, in what ways does that experience mimic meditation?
We get a lot of people that come in who are interested in meditation. One of the benefits of the flotation therapy is the fact that it takes away all the distractions. And when you're starting a meditation practice, it can be challenging to develop one, because the slightest little distraction can really take you away, or it feels like it does, at least in the beginning. But when you're in a pod, you basically take all those distractions away, and it really can make it a little bit easier for someone to develop a practice of meditation.
Oh, that's good. So they support each other.
Yes, they do.
Well, James, I'm so glad that you could be here today to share this information with us, and I hope a lot of the viewers will come and participate in your class on beginning May 1st.
May 1st, yeah,
okay,
Monday.
And at what time?
3 o'clock, 3 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, 3 to 4, perfect.
Yes.
James is a generous person. He truly believes in the mission of the community life centers and is willing to do his part to strengthen the community. He has gladly led more community life center programs than anyone else, all because he's interested in sharing his knowledge of and passion for meditation. If you would like to attend the next session of mindfulness meditation, please contact him at info@feelregenerated.com or call 301-992-4249. And if James has inspired you to share your passion, contact me at Hospice of Washington County so that you too can lead a community life center program. Don't go away, we're coming right back.
People, tend to want to do things with people they know and trust and respect. And so we see that that's something that happens again and again, and customers are repeat customers because they have that feeling. And the word of mouth that they share with one another and to their peers is so important in terms of generating additional business from us because they really like the feeling that this is a place you can feel good about.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up, it's going to make it, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
I'm glad you're still with us. Our next guest has tremendous experience with and compassion for those dealing with addiction. She's worked at the Washington County Health Department for 15 years and is currently the agency's Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Prevention Coordinator. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Carrie Farrow, who said, "Preventing alcohol and drug abuse is my passion. It's not just my job." Ms. Farrow, who received her Human Services degree from Hagerstown Junior College, shares her knowledge in a variety of settings across the county. Hospice of Washington County is fortunate to have her serve as a member of the Boonsboro Community Life Center Advisory Council. In that role, she and other members advise HWC on how best to utilize the Boonsboro Community Life Center to meet the community's needs. Carrie joins us today to talk about a program she will be leading at the Boonsboro CLC. On Thursday, April 27th at 1 o'clock, Carrie will discuss opioid addiction, provide information on Narcan, and teach attendees how to administer this life-saving medication. Carrie, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're so glad you're here. Welcome. So, Carrie, first maybe just for our audience, you can tell what Narcan is and how it works.
Narcan is a medication that can reverse an opioid overdose if caught in time. And how it works, at the health department, we use the intranasal. We train and dispense the intranasal, so it's just like a nasal spray.
Okay. And could you tell us what kind of information will be covered, and if you can show us some of your samples that you'll be demonstrating, that would be helpful.
In the trainings, they will learn actually what is an opioid. A lot of times people, when they think of opioid, they only think of heroin, or they only think of Percocet. So they'll be learning the different opioids, prescription as well as narcotic, illegal opioids. And they will also get a script, or they'll actually be leaving with the actual naloxone. Right now we currently have the 1-piece 4 milligram. That is, like I said, just like a nasal spray if you was to go to CVS or Rite Aid. This is the old one that we used to dispense 2 years ago, the 2 milligram, which had to be put together. So this new one, the 4 milligram, is so much nicer, 1 piece. So when they leave the training, they'll be leaving with knowledge of, like I said, the opioids, different opioids, as well as they'll get a 2-year certification card, which allows them to administer naloxone. So they'll be certified, and they'll actually be leaving with the actual Narcan itself.
Okay. And Carrie, is there any negative consequences to somebody who administers Narcan, and do they have any legal culpability if they're not successful?
No. Under the Good Samaritan law that was passed in October 2015, they would not be held accountable if the person, if it becomes a fatality. So everyone is, like I said, covered under the Good Samaritan law, which I think is important to get out there, for the substance users themselves, because what was happening when someone would overdose, they would leave the individual in the house or throw them out of the car in the alley out of fear of incarceration. But everyone is covered under that Good Samaritan law. As long as they make a good faith effort to save the individual's life, they will not be charged.
Okay. And this workshop is going to be held at the Boonesboro Community Life Center on April 25th? Thursday, April 25th at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Who should attend this workshop, and how long does it last?
The workshop itself, depending upon questions at the end, about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, again, depending on questions. I think it's very important for anyone and everyone to come get trained. This, again, is a life-saving tool, and you never know where you may have to administer it. People are thinking just younger generation, it's the older generation as well. We may have grandparents that forgot that they took their medication already and take it again. So you just never know. It's happening at homes, it's happening in public places. So I just think it's very important for anyone that's interested in helping save a life get trained.
Okay, that sounds great, and it's really encouraging people to attend. And I just checked my notes, and that date is April 27th. 27th, yeah, I said the wrong date. Carrie, I know part of the reason that you are supporting us in the Boonesboro Community Life Center is because you have identified a need in our community to provide this training. The health department also does this at other locations. Maybe you could mention those.
We actually have at least 2 community trainings a month. I try to have a daytime one as well as an evening one because of individuals' work schedules. So we actually have a page, Project Act Now. If anyone is on the internet, they can go to projectactnow.org, or if they're on social media, Facebook, they can search Project Act Now, and it shows all of our training dates as well as the Washington County Health Department's page as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing that information, and I hope our viewers who are interested in this topic come down to the Boonesboro Community Life Center and get to participate and learn from an expert.
Thank you so much.
I'm grateful to Carrie for a lot of reasons, for being on today's program, for her passion for preventing drug and alcohol abuse, for serving on the Boonesboro Community Life Center Council, and also for leading the Narcan training at our Life Center and also throughout the county. According to a 2016 report issued by the American Society of Addiction Medicine, more than 2.5 million Americans 12 and older have an opioid substance disorder. This is a huge problem that requires all of us to work together. If you would like to attend one of these free Narcan trainings and be certified, please contact Hospice of Washington County at 301-791-6360 or call the Washington County Health Department for more information. Thanks for joining us for today's episode of Healing, Hope, and Health. We'll see you next time.